I believe one of the great ways to mix things up is what you listen to and who you surround yourself with. I'm unbelievably passionate about people finding more optimistic, practical friends. And I think optimism can slide into delusion, which is why I say optimistical, practical. There's only offense and defense. There's only the force and the dark side, right? And I think that right now a lot of people are choosing to be driven by fear and negativity without realizing it. And so if you're listening right now, my biggest thing is start leaning into a little bit more of optimism and positivity. When I was a little kid in Edison, New Jersey, when grandparents came over, I would go play with the grandparents a lot. Maybe it was because I lost 3 of my 4 grandparents as a kid. And the number one thing I learned in the first 20 years of my life, spending more time with old people than most kids, is the biggest thing I fear is regret. Regret is scary. Resentment is very scary. The biggest reason I push kids to do what they want versus what their parents want is because I'd rather them and their parents have 5 or 6 or 7 years of bad than 80. Because it gets very ugly when you're 60 and they're 80 and you lived your life based on what they wanted and now you resent them. It gets real ugly real fast. I would rather you have the pain for the next 5 or 6 years of fighting and then have one of 2 things happen, which I think both are amazing. Number 1, you were right. You were right, and you are an amazing fashion designer, not an engineer, and you built a real company, and your parents are gonna be very, very proud. Or, you were wrong. You suck at fashion design. Nobody liked it. But at least for yourself, you never have to live the rest of your life asking yourself, what if? You win both ways. That's a great question. And honestly, I would argue that that is a core strength of mine, that I play in both worlds, and so I'm able to see the common themes. I think big companies can learn that process for the sake of process is the worst thing of all time, and that's all they've become. And that long-term marathon running and building a business is better than every 90 days, but they're stuck because they pander to Wall Street. I think startups are impatient, underestimate scale, pander to VC, big companies pander to Wall Street, startups pander to VCs, neither panders to the end consumer. I genuinely believe that because I pander to the end consumer, the audience, that I am who I am. Wine Library was what Wine Library was, VaynerMedia is. Everybody panders to things in the middle that mean nothing.
Rule number 4, show your worth.
Today's
I'm not
world.
signing anything until
You feel it.
I know my worth. And
Yep.
I feel like I'm worth more than what.
And you know what's funny? A lot of times people are like, I know my worth. You're being actually more thoughtful than that. You're putting yourself in a position to allow the market to establish your worth.
Yeah.
Everybody knows their worth. The amount of people, there's millions of people running around saying, I know my worth, and never do anything because the market doesn't give them the leverage to create worth. What I like about what you're doing is you're not sitting in your room ideologically saying, I know my worth. You're putting in work to get money, to put yourself in a position.
Right.
You're doing it the right way.
Thank you.
No, it's real. I mean it. No, I mean it.
Yeah.
I think I know my worth is like when people always say I'm not willing to work for free. I know my worth. And I'm like, you have ego. You're building a foundation on humility. You're actually working. And I'm sure, I'm not sure, but I assume you need to have a job that gives you flexibility, so you're probably not making $1 billion a year.
No, I'm working part-time, and that's
exactly.
Lucky, that what I found is
Yep, and so I just wish more youngsters would follow your blueprint. People are just not willing to eat and it's just entitlement. Everybody just decided they're the best rapper in the world, and they just leave comments on rappers' Instagrams and be like, you haven't heard me yet, I'm the best. Cool.